Hello and welcome to week 5 of Concept of Physical Fitness. My name is Juan Baez, and today we're going to be talking about body composition. Now, there's multiple ways of acquiring a person's body composition. Today we're going to mostly be talking about girth measurements. Why girth measurements? Well, girth measurements, they're easy to use. It's the most common out of all the methods. The results are reliable, and it's also cost effective. Why is it cost effective? Because you only need one piece of equipment. That equipment is a non-elastic tape. Here's the non-elastic tape that I like to use. It comes in a retractable form. It's got a little handle, and I used this when I was in the Navy. It's fast, and you don't have to mess with excessive tape. So if you see in the picture back here, you see the lady with the long tape. Well, that gets entangled, and when you're doing hundreds of people a day, or 100 measurements in a day, you want something that's retractable and it's easy to use. The only downside about using this retractable type of tape is that the ends right here start to get worn down rather quickly, but the plus side is they're not that expensive to replace. So when I was in the Navy, I would go through hundreds of people, and for 2 weeks at a time, a couple times a year. So I'd say one of these would last me over 1,000 uses. So to start the girth measurement, you want to start by measuring the waist. To measure the waist, you want to have your person stripped down as much as possible without being too evasive. All right. Because you don't want to have loose clothing or anything that will interfere with the measurements. So back to the waist measurement, you want to find the smallest part of the waist, the smallest circumference. For some people, that the circumference is hard to find, where their waist is not as obvious. You want to find the top of their iliac crest, and for some people, you may have to like dig deep in there to get it. And then you want to use their chest as another reference point. So you have the top of the iliac crest and their chest. You want to draw a line, imaginary line. All right, like that. But obviously it's going to be imaginary. And then that's where your tape is going to go, right in between those two imaginary lines that you make. If that's still too difficult, the book says that you can use the belly button or the umbilicus area. What I noticed was this area versus this area, like I gained 2 inches. So use that upon discretion, your discretion. But this is what it should look like once it's around your person. You want to make sure that their arms are by their side. They're in a relaxed position. And you gather the measurement on their inhale. So make sure that they inhale, not all the way through, just a nice relaxed inhale. Get the measurement, and then have them exhale. One fault you see here is the handle is dripped down like this. That won't give me an accurate measurement. So you want to make sure that you're holding it up, propping it up, and you have it nice and tight. But you don't want to have it too tight where it causes an indentation. I'll show that in a few pictures. Next, we're going to talk about the hip measurement. To get the hip measurement, you want to make sure that you go on the widest, or the area that protrudes the most on the buttocks. So it's not going to be like the middle, it's just whatever part sticks out the most For me, it's where this line is. Right there. And that's where the tape will go. And as I mentioned before, you want to make sure that you don't have it so snug that it causes an indent, as you can see in this picture. I'm not sure if you can see it well in the video. Let me go ahead and zoom in right there. If you still can't see it, there you go. There's an arrow to help you. Once you gather those two circumference numbers, you want to use those numbers to get the waist to hip ratio. So you're going to get the waist circumference and divide it by the hip circumference to get you the waist to hip ratio. Here's an example of mine. These are my numbers. I got 33 inches on my waist and 41 inches around my hip. And it equaled out to 0.80. Now you use this number on the chart to figure out your risk level for developing a hypokinetic disease. Men that score higher than a 1.0, are at high risk. Same with women that score higher with a 0.85 instead of a 1. But I scored a 0.80, so I'm in the lower risk category. And that is the end. Thank you.